Hey everyone, good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Darrell Winninger from the Central Oregon Daily Weather Center. We're about to do a deep dive into your most reliable forecast. If you've been waiting on a big warm-up, that is right around the corner. It actually starts tomorrow, continues through Thursday, and still impacting us by Friday with warming temperatures that are going to take us well into the 70s, even some 80s, so the latter part of the work week, all of that in advance of our next system, which has already started to develop. So like I said, we're going to take a few minutes, do a deep dive into your most reliable forecast, look at all of the details, take a look at a couple of different forecast models, and see exactly what we're expecting, when our next chance of rain is, what winds are going to do, and more details on those roller coaster temperatures that are on the way. Let's start off with today. A weak system has been rolling through the Pacific Northwest. We started off this Tuesday with some sprinkles, a whole lot of cloud cover, breezy winds at times, and cooler temperatures. But right now, across the high desert this afternoon and evening, we've already started to clear out. This clearing continues through tonight, and by tomorrow we have tons of sunshine expected. So just another look for, instead of just our cameras, let's go ahead and look at our satellite and radar. What we're looking at with satellite is a blend of infrared and visible satellite, and then we have some radar thrown on there as well. Notice that all of the green, all of that shower activity from radar has pushed out of our Tri-County area. We just have some in and out clouds left, and a broad ridge of high pressure is really starting to develop offshore. That is going to bring us our sunshine and assist with our next warming trend, and it's going to happen pretty quickly because through the next 48 hours temperatures warm up real quickly, and then by Friday we start to see that next shift in our weather pattern. Now, just looking at infrared satellite as well as pressure, and this is enhanced infrared, so I put a different color enhancement on it so we could really pick out where those tall clouds are versus the low clouds like we have over Central Oregon. In fact, let's dive in a little bit more, take a closer look. The tallest clouds with infrared are well off toward the state line of Idaho and Oregon, and continuing to roll east. We do have some clouds still over Central Oregon, but none of them are bringing any precipitation, and we've really started to clear out. The only spot where we still have some sprinkles as of this evening is over the Cascades, and that is few and far between. When we look at those isobars, we saw them a little tightly packed earlier today, but they're starting to spread out, which means winds are already starting to fizzle out. Let me go back real quick because we're not quite done. There is a broad ridge of high pressure out over the Pacific Ocean, and that high is what's going to build into the Pacific Northwest, and that's going to bring us our sunshine through the next couple of days. You can see this bullseye right here. That's where that high pressure is centered. Now, there is a cold front stretched from the Aleutian Islands and Gulf of Alaska all the way over the North Pacific Ocean. That'll be our next front. It just holds off till Friday. Now let's talk temperatures. In the last 24 hours, you know what? Now let's go to temperatures. There we go. In the last 24 hours, temperatures topped out in the 60s with a few 70s. Today, it hasn't been that pleasant. We've actually had a huge drop in temperatures. Most of us 60s with some 50s. Those are in our higher elevations where it hasn't quite reached 60 degrees yet. So that is signifies a huge drop in temperatures, between 3 and 10 degrees cooler than it was 24 hours ago. Now, tonight, it's going to be cold. We're looking at another round of near freezing temperatures, so if you have any sensitive vegetation outside, you'll want to cover that up or bring it in. By tomorrow, the warming trend begins, and here's why. Remember, our high pressure is centered out over the Pacific Ocean, and across the high desert, we're starting to see the influences of that high pressure. It's just coming up to just offshore, and our next system is well out over the Pacific Northwest, kind of right above the camera right here. And that's going to hold off until Friday because our high pressure builds into the region, and then we continue to warm up. So Wednesday, we're looking at highs in the 60s and some 70s. By Thursday, highs in the 70s and 80s across our Tri-County area, and we're firmly under that high pressure. But then this high begins to give way to that next cold front. That next cold front is still well out over the Pacific Ocean on Thursday, but it catches up with us. And as it makes landfall, it starts to break apart. What that means for us is we're still looking at showers. But what's going to happen is, in advance of that cold front, another low pressure develops over the California-Oregon state line, starts to move further to the north, and that's going to be where we get our convection on Friday. And it's going to bring us showers, and there's a chance of some thunderstorm activity. Also, temperatures temperatures are going to dip down a little bit, 70s with some 80s possible. So still super pleasant, but we do have this chance of not only a little bit of cooling, but much stronger winds, showers, and a chance of some thunderstorms. And so just to put those numbers on a graphic for you, we start to warm up Wednesday, either side of 70 degrees, continue to warm Thursday, either side of 80 degrees, and by Friday, still either side of 80 degrees, but those temperatures dip down. Scattered showers start to develop during the afternoon, continue through the evening and overnight hours, but the afternoon, that's when we have a chance of some thunderstorm activity. So let's look at our forecast model. And remember, with that cold front, a huge drop in temperatures for the weekend. We're going from either side of 80 well into the lower to mid 50s by the time we get to Saturday. So it's actually going to be a little on the chilly side. But our forecast model for this evening shows our high pressure continuing to build. It shows the remnants of that front that brought us some sprinkles, clouds, and cooler temperatures across the high desert earlier today. But tonight we get our clearing. Very little cloud cover is expected through Wednesday. Sunshine continues on Thursday, and then by Friday we start off sunny. That low develops, starts to push to the north. It is going to bring a chance of some showers starting in the afternoon hours, and that's why I don't have our afternoon temperatures on Friday still in the 80s. I have them in the mid to upper 70s because it all depends on how quickly this happens. If showers start to develop earlier, it's going to be cooler. If showers start to develop later, it's going to be warmer. And with this chance of showers, where we get that extra warming, that's where we're going to have a chance of some thunderstorm activity. So fast forward a little bit more, and by Friday afternoon and evening, we start to see some of those brighter colors. That's indicative of the risk of lightning activity, and that's what we're most focused on Friday. Yes, the evening is going to be a little on the wet side, so that also brings to mind if you have any plans for First Friday events in Central Oregon, that could be impacting you. You're going to want to bring that shelter layer, but also know it's going to be a nice day, and then some showers start to develop. By the evening hours, we're looking at scattered rain, and that continues through Friday night and into Saturday. Looking a little bit further past that, what we're seeing is that that low moves out of the area, our cold front fizzles out. Showers continue through the day on Saturday, and notice some of this light blue. I do think that the GFS, the long range forecast model, is overdoing this. Friday night going into Saturday, I do have lows on either side of 40 degrees, so that means upper 30s, low 40s. With that temperature, it is possible to get some snow showers, just nothing actually sticking. And the reason is it takes 1,200 feet for that snowflake to melt. So if it gets to the surface before it melts, it's going to be melting on contact, but some snow showers are going to be possible Saturday morning, maybe going into the afternoon. I think that's stretching it a little bit too long. By Sunday, we start to get some clearing. By Monday, mostly sunshine. By Tuesday, still a whole lot of sunshine, just some in and out clouds, and dry. Winds are going to be breezy at times, even after our gusty conditions Friday and Saturday. So between now and Thursday at 11 p.m., we're looking at some sprinkles, and that has already pushed through the high desert. A little bit different of a look at this. This is a different forecast model than I was just showing you. This is going to take us all the way through Friday's event. It's just not as high resolution. And it shows some sprinkles, but that has already happened. It's going to be dry Wednesday and Thursday, but by Friday, the showers start to roll and we have that chance of thunderstorms. Winds aren't going to be a big issue with this system, or really through the next couple of days at all. This afternoon and morning, it has been breezy at times, and it's still like that. Wind speeds are between 8 and 15 miles per hour, mostly coming out of the north and the northwest. Gusts, however, are between 10 and 28 miles per hour. So for some of us, it is still gusty, and those gusty winds are going to continue until after sunset. That by then, we're going to start to get tapering winds. So remember, everything to the left of this white line that's observed, and it started to get breezy here through the last couple of hours. This morning, however, with those sprinkles, it was a little on the breezy side at times. Tonight, we have tapering winds coming down to 1 to 8 miles per hour, then 0 to 5 miles per hour. Wednesday, we keep a light breeze through the day. And by Thursday, still a light breeze, a little breezy at times, not too bad. I still have 2 to 12 miles per hour in the forecast for Wednesday and Thursday. But for tonight, falling through the 30s, reaching into the 20s, we get our clearing. And then by Wednesday, we're topping out of the mid to upper 60s and some low 70s. This is day one of our warming trend. Day two is going to be on Thursday. That's when we're reaching through the 70s, even into the 80s for some of us, under tons of sunshine and a light breeze. But by Friday, it's still bringing pleasant temperatures. We're still looking at 70s with some 80s, but during the afternoon hours, that's when we get showers with a chance of thunderstorms. It's not going to be widespread thunderstorm outbreak. However, some thunderstorms are going to be possible depending on just how warm we get and how late those showers start to develop across the high desert. And if we have more isolated showers at first, there's still going to be a little bit of warming in some pockets. That's where some convection is going to be possible. Now, Friday and Saturday, winds are going to be gusty. Saturday, we get a big drop in temperatures, losing 25 degrees in some locations, going from 79 to 55. And then by Sunday, we start to rebound. Clearing is expected, rising temperatures getting back into the 70s by Monday and Tuesday, but Sunday's still going to be a little breezy at times. So that is the latest in weather. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. I'll give you one quick rundown of our weather headlines. A big warming trend is on the way. It's going to be a short one, though. And then by Friday, we start to see some of those changes. While we're in our warming trend, we're looking at tons of sunshine, just a light breeze. Friday, we get increasing clouds, afternoon showers, and a chance of some afternoon and evening thunderstorms. It's going to be possible late Friday, but then by Saturday, a big drop in temperatures. So again, that is the latest in weather. Join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. Well, the latest headlines and your most reliable forecast. It's at 5 and 11 on ABC and at 6, 7, and 11 on CBS. And so that means our ABC show is about to start. I've got to get going. Y'all have a good evening and enjoy the warm up ahead.